Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's edition of Read TFOS, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Clockmaker, written by NarodnayaToast. Nobody could tell you when the Clockmaker first set up shop. He's always been there as far as I remember. Asking more specifically would earn you some odd looks and suspicious stares from the other townfolk. Visitors quickly learned to avoid questioning further, lest they find themselves ejected and lost in the surrounding wilds. The town in which she resided had no name. Their houses rippled with certain strange shimmer. They vanished from the corners of eyes in the twilight, rebuilding and reshaping themselves in the moments between thoughts. They've always looked like that. Are you feeling all right? One could swear that the entire town was ticking along to some unknown beat, and sometimes visitors would hear the ticking in their dreams. The longer one spent there, the more clocks and watches they would begin to see. Despite the town's eccentricities, it was known to be open and welcoming. Children would wave as you walked down the main street. A smile directed towards a local rarely went unanswered. The Clockmaker was always in his shop, from the rising of the sun to the rising of the twin moons. In the snow and the rain and the prickly heat of summer, in celebration and in sadness, he was always busy. There were always new clocks to make. Peering through the grimy window, one could see him leaning over his newest project, fiddling with gears and screws and a variety of strange items with no name. There were always more clocks to fix. Even the Clockmaker could not fix everything, however. Sometimes the damaged watches or timepieces or grandfather clocks were too damaged, and the Clockmaker would smile sadly and shake his head. There were always days of mourning. In the evening, following a failed repair, he would attend a funeral of a recently departed member of the town, placing the remains of a broken clock on top of their coffin before it was lowered into the earth. That was the only time he was ever seen outside of his shop. He would shake the hands of the bereaved families, offering his condolences. Afterwards, he would return. There were always more clocks to make. This delicate existence, like all things, could not last forever. A group of humanoid aliens packed in a single small ship marked the watershed. They had heard the rumors about the strange town and the strange inhabitants. They wanted to see it for themselves. Like many who pursue ends without regard to means, they were greedy in their need. They, unblinking, would have offered no kindness to the locals, not that they were given the chance to. Their ship was greeted by ethereal silence, a mist descending on the town as the aliens started to walk their way up Main Street, towards the Clockmaker's shop. They wanted his knowledge, his strange power over time, and the threads of lives. His expertise. The Clockmaker was waiting for them. He was not sitting at his desk, fixing clocks. He stood in front of his shop. He smiled as they approached. "I knew you were coming. You seem rather interested in my little shop." He held a watch in his hand. It was beautiful, ornate, all gold and copper and carefully polished glass over delicate hands, the clock face. No response at first. Then the leader of the alien group stepped forward, all bravado and threatening body language. "We know of your strange powers, Clockmaker. We would like to see them for ourselves." The man tilted his head slightly to one side. "I merely fix things, gentlemen. To search so violently for what you seek means you may never find it at all. Nonsense. My value lies in the community I serve. Speak to them if you wish to understand." The alien pulled a small gun from nowhere, pointing it at the man's head. "Tell us the source of your power, now." A finger hovered over the trigger. "Terribly sorry," a simple, short response. "I must be on my way. Goodbye for now, gentlemen." The gun fired, the crack of the bullet reverberating off the surrounding houses, startling those peering through cracks in closed curtains. The man fell back and landed on the ground with a soft thud, blood pooling around shattered skull. The watch in his hand fell to the ground. The second hand had stopped ticking. "Search the shop. With a single command, the aliens marched into the Clockmaker's shop. The sounds of dozens of clocks and watches, all ticking in perfect harmony, greeted them. They searched every little corner and crack, but found nothing aside from seemingly endless gears and screws and all manner of strange, small objects. The invaders, of course, had made a terrible mistake. A neighbor who saw the Clockmaker fall ran to her neighbor, who ran to more, and so on, until the entire town knew what had occurred. Within minutes, the town had rallied into a single extremely angry group, and they began to advance on the Clockmaker's store. Each one held aloft a small, ornate watch as they marched in perfect step. The invaders had pistols, but the townsfolk were not afraid. They had access to powers far more ancient, ones which were forged in the crucible of the universe and rediscovered by a lone, intrepid human many moons ago. The bullets emerged from the invaders' barrels and seemed to slow in mid-air. They stopped and fell to the ground, aged beyond any use. The children threw stones. Those stones reverberated into their primordial form as they sailed by the alien group, taking on the heat of lava and then exploding, which burned and battered the now terrified aliens. They were, of course, driven from the shop. They were forced back down the main road, the only route away from the onslaught. As they ran, the roar of a community deeply wronged rung out throughout the town, and the mountains and the valleys beyond. And nearby animals all paused for a brief moment, shocked into stillness at the power of what they had heard, and the aliens themselves seemed to age rapidly as they ran for their ship, patches of hair turning white and wrinkles appearing on their faces, arms, and hands. After that, no more invaders visited the town. None would dare. The town still exists to this day. It can't be found on a map anymore. It seems that these days, only the most lost of travelers find their way there, always greeted by smiles and offers of tea and cake. Lost travelers in return offer stories of their lives and their journeys. All who have stumbled across the town report a monument of bronze and steel towering above the town, in the ruins of a building at the end of the main street. A small hollow in its base holds a small, beautiful gold and copper watch. A local legend tells of all who lay broken objects at the monument's feet. In light of the full twined moons, will find them repaired by morning. And though lost enough in the darkest of nights, too lost to even find the town, swear they have felt the presence of a gentle, smiling man guiding them to a place they can call home for a while. Who are you? They wonder aloud. Sometimes they hear a response. The clocks on the navigator's displays always going haywire. Just lending you a hand, keeping myself busy while I look for a new home. There will always be more clocks to fix, after all. End of story. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Drexzoon WRE, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, John Carrington, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.